Hi everybody, it's Martin from the Washboard Resonators. We're going to get into some typical licks from some typical Delta blues players. But it helps to know what Delta blues is. Well, typically you might think of usually male sung music with a guitar. Often we'll use a slide. It has a drive-in rhythm. And you might think of some key players. You might think of Son House. You might think of Booker White. You might think of Robert Johnson, Tommy Johnson. You might think of R.L. Burnside, Mississippi Fred McDowell, Charlie Patton, and many more. So I'll show you two kind of ideas. Number one, a kind of one chord blues. Number two, we'll look at a simplified version of a Son House song. So let's get down to part one, a one chord blues. What does that really mean? Well, it means that you can basically play repeating riffs and motifs. It's very hypnotic, and you might think of this in the more kind of Mississippi hill country blues kind of style. You think of people like R.L. Burnside or Mississippi Fred McDowell. They often have these one chord songs. So to get down to the one chord idea, I'm in open G. Both songs will be in open G because we can't really cover a million different players' styles. They all have different tunings, etc. So if you don't know open G, you take a regular tune guitar, you tune your fat string down to a D, your next string down to a G, D, G, B, and D. You see I'm playing one chord there, I'm stamping my foot, and it's meant to be hypnotic, and it's meant to draw the listener in, and it's meant to just create like a mood. You know, and we're not changing chord, we're just creating a sort of question answer thing. Now I'll show you the notes shortly. What you might want to think about as well as to show now is that when you play that kind of thing, you use it as an instrumental passage, an intro, you vary it for like a solo. And then when you're singing, you might kind of play back a little bit behind the singing. Now, because I'm making this up out of R.L. Burnside-y, you know, kind of sounding things, you know, I'm just going to hum something. Well, my baby, Okay, so the main kind of point of this is that you're playing the G string, which is really technically the fifth string open, in time with banging your foot, and that's what's creating that kind of rhythm. It's got to be strong. Then what you're doing, you play that note once at the start of each phrase, then you kind of slide in on the top two strings at the third fret. Sometimes I play them straight, sometimes I make them into triplets. 1 and 2 and then so we're playing two notes for every one note. When we say triplets, we're playing three notes for every one note. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and you vary them. You see, so that instantly sounds like Delta blues. What it is, it's a G chord, and that's giving it like a kind of G7 sound at times. Okay, then what you do is you keep those fingers down on those top two strings, then you put this finger down on the fifth fret of the top string, the first string. There you go, sing. Repeat. Oop. You do some kind of little bluesy lick and I vary them. You can just do very different versions there, but you know. So yeah, basically what you do there, that's the fourth string at the third fret, then open, then you've got the open third string, third fret, then you've got an open fourth string, something like that. there you go, that's that hill country, Mississippi kind of sound. And then what I was doing for the singing, open string. So you're kind of almost doing like a little, doing those open strings in time with your foot. Doing some little pickups with your fingers. It's almost like a little backbeat, almost like if you think of a drum beat. Your own kind of beatbox. We'll talk about that when we get to the Son House song. Oh my baby, oh my jelly roll, I need to know where my baby's gonna go. You can just sing. And come back in with your lick. And then when you want to do something more like a solo, you can just use your kind of minor pentatonic scale. Just to make it really simple, if you got your 5th fret and then you go 4 frets up, so fret A, that's your minor 3rd. If you bend that, that's your blue note, and you can just use that a lot for your lick. You know, if you want to put some little instrumental passages, solos. There, I just put 2 fingers down on fret 12, and then I went again 4 frets up to make it from a G to that G7 sound, which is very bluesy. Before we do the Son House part of the lesson and we do a 12-bar blues, let me just say now that if you find these videos useful and you learn from them, do help me and Jack in the Washboard Resonators. We're professional musicians, we do a lot of gigs. Like, subscribe and comment, it really, really helps. Go to the description, join our mailing list. It is the biggest help and we really appreciate it. Okay then, so next up we're going to look at Death Letter Blues by Son House, and it's a 12-bar Delta blues, so we're going to get a little bit more open into this. The intro lick in this is something that you probably see in Robert Johnson's guitar, you see in Tommy Johnson, Charlie Patton, and you know, so much of that Delta blues sound of the 20s, 30s, 40s is based around basically this lick. And that's kind of an intro, and it acts as kind of an instrumental fill-in. So let me just do one version of the song, and then we'll show it you. I got a letter this morning, I knew you reckon it's red. Said hurry, hurry, the girl you love is dead. I got a letter this morning, I said how you reckon it's red. It said now, hurry, hurry, because the girl you love is dead. So basically it's a 12-bar blues now, playing out of open G. And what is that main lick that Son House does? Well, it's getting the fat string, 3rd fret. Then what you're doing is you kind of snap it, then you play the 5th string open. Then what you do is you slide on the 3rd string. Then you play the 3rd string open, and then you slide it to the 1st string and play the 5th fret. It's good when you snap it. So that's a big part of the DNA of this song, isn't it? What happens for the next bit? When he's singing, he does the snaps, but what he does, he plays the 3rd string, 3rd fret on the 3rd string. Then you do the open 5th string. So sometimes I'm pinching. So you got that 5th string, and then you've got that 3rd string. The G chord, and you know, that string snapping thing is really a big part of Delta blues. You'll hear Tommy Johnson, Charlie Patton do licks that descend, you know, and things that use those snapping things. I said earlier, you know, like you have to be sort of a bit almost like your own beatbox when you do this kind of music. You know, I think there's so many parallels to rap music and blues music. When you hear Son House in his glory, he is just like a beatbox, and there's these snaps and these pulls coming out of the guitar, and it really truly is like dance music. And it's, for its time in the 20s and 30s, it was contemporary, and you know, the lyrics are streetwise. You know, that kind of ability to make that really strong, pulsing, simple, hypnotic rhythm is very much like the equivalent of, you know, what rap music is now. Okay, so we've got the intro, we've got the instrumental section, we've got the kind of fill-in sections, we've got the one chord. Well, what happens on the fifth chord? Well, there's all kinds of delta licks. I'm sort of simplifying it for you by, what we do is basically, you cover about 4 of the top strings, then you slide in to the 5th fret. Then what you do is you put that finger down and you do it to the 8th fret. I'm doing like a little hammer-on thing, but then a lot of those blues guys do this kind of lick. You'll hear Robert Johnson and Son House do this a lot. And you can vary it. I find varying it's good, but just for now we'll do this. So that's then your C chord. And you do that. What was the intro? Then to do the D chord, just repeat what you did at the 5th fret, at the 7th fret. Start again. So there you go, you've now got the tools to be able to play Death Letter Blues. There's a few little variations. Sometimes you hear a lot in the delta. When they go to the what people call the 5th chord, in this case the C chord, you'll hear this lick a lot. Yeah, you'll hear that so many times. Robert Johnson uses it a lot. Got deep disconnection. Boy, I'm bound to go. So what is that? So you just slide in on the 4th string to the 5th fret, and you kind of you slide in and give it some vibrato. If you are fairly new to slide, then I'll pop a link below for our kind of open G slide guitar videos, and they'll really help you with techniques and what slides to choose and how to mute the strings and stop all the rattling and clatter. Those videos really help. So another variation is when you're not singing, you can play a more of an instrumental pattern, and this is one of the key Delta blues licks that I'm about to play now. So let's say you finish singing. You began to let her down to an instrumental. Well, what were we doing there? We were going to the 12th fret. And you can, I mean, Son House, what Son House does, if you want to sound like Son House, you play it really badly. What you do, instead of playing your slide straight, so all the notes are in tune with each other, you actually make it out of tune by basically making your slide do this. That instantly sounds like Son House, especially when he's in his 60s and 70s, when he was older and filmed towards the end of his life. Because he was obviously he was never filmed in the 20s and 30s when he was young. It was only filmed when he was an old alcoholic, you know. But did you hear that? By twisting the slide sort of badly, it actually sounds like Son House. So you can do that. Put those licks in. Using that 5th fret again, and that 3rd fret, like in the one chord song. Just more of those single notes, you know, for the 5th chord. Or you can use those chords or do the little walk downs. See? Or now got what is basically it's like a gateway drug, but like a gateway video into Delta blues sounds, and some typical licks of typical Delta blues players, you know, Robert Johnson, all those kind of Tommy Johnson, all those kind of people, and hopefully it really, really helps. So my name is Martin, the band is the Washboard Resonators. Like, subscribe, comment, buy us a coffee, find us on Spotify, do all the stuff you can to help, buy a t-shirt, CD, it all really helps. Drop us a message. Are there any videos you want to see? Is there any history you want to see? Is there anything you need to learn? Let us know. We're here to help. Thank you. Bye-bye for now.